Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to open a box from Cold Steel containing Cold Steel training staffs for this weekend's 2.5-day OODA Loop staff training seminar. We are in the shop of Badland Outfitters. Badland Outfitters is at the same location where I run my staff shop. That is by design. The whole point is to take people from the simplest, most basic human movements and move them up on the athletic scale towards world-class athletes. The guy who runs Badland Outfitters, Wes Fenton, is a world-class martial artist who does armored combat fighting, so we like to hang out and talk about stuff. The most important thing in human history is not getting hit in the face. The whole seminar that I run is based on that. We're going to start with the equipment in this box and eventually move towards stuff like this. Do you have to move to the real terrifying stuff? You do not. But the movement patterns of something like armored combat fighting for all of human history all start with a very simple set of movements that are trained with heavy clubs and maces, and then move to OODA Loop staff drills, and then get more complex over time. There's a clear line from the beginning to the end, start to finish. Today's box opening implement will be this. This is awesome. This is a short Dane axe that is handmade by Badland Outfitters. These are saw blades. This is a real weapon. This is used for competition axe throwing. You could either have a normal axe and do axe throwing, or you could have something like this and do axe throwing. I personally prefer sexier stuff to train with just because it makes you more likely to want to train. We're gonna chop open the top of this box. Not difficult. Let's give it another chop away from our body. Okay, it's just gonna annihilate everything we put it through. Inside this box, we have a bunch of these. The point of these Cold Steel training staffs is that they are cheap and they are indestructible for the most part. If you set them on fire and burn a house down around them, you will eventually kill them. They will burn up and eventually go away. But for the most part, they will last a very long time, even training against real sharp weapons, which is why I love them. When I first started teaching OODA Loop staff training, we did what everybody did. We went to the martial arts store. In Los Angeles, there's a place called Martial Arts Mart. It's on Western. We went in, we bought staffs, martial arts staffs. None of them lasted more than 10 minutes in training. And it gets really expensive, really fast, to buy a new $30 to $40 stick every day you train. This is a $40 to $50 stick, depending on where you get it, and it will last. Thus far, we haven't killed one yet, even chopping at it with real machetes. The point of this is that it's not super long. If it was a little bit longer, I'd probably like it a little bit more. I would prefer something more of eyebrow height, but this is what we can get. These are octagonal, like traditional staffs were. Originally, when people made staffs, they chopped them out of a board. You cut down a tree, you felled it, you shaved it down into a board, you put it on a shave, and you started taking off the edges until you got to an octagon. Pure round weapons required a little bit more work, so oftentimes octagonal staffs were used. And if you look back through history, you'll find versions of this all over the world. The whole point of the seminar that we do is that we are not treating martial arts like dance. There is a reason that people treat martial arts as forms. Forms are integral in all of human history. You can put a whole group of people in a field, 1, 5, 10, 100, 1,000, and you can have them all learn to do the most important movements in martial arts in a short period of time. You can get them to move at a certain pace. You can control athletic development for small to large groups. You'll see this a lot in something like Shaolin martial arts, where you'll see 1,000 guys in a field all becoming world-class athletes by all training specific hyper-useful movement patterns that have been tested in combat and then put into an athletic prep program. Think of something like Shaolin or Wudang martial arts with forms as CrossFit 1,000 years before anybody thought about CrossFit. The problem is people forget that just doing the athletic training does not make you a martial arts master. The same thing is true in something like MMA. If you just do CrossFit, it does not mean you can actually do martial arts. The same thing is true of doing forms in martial arts. If you just do forms, then you cannot just instantly be a fighter. The difference is OODA loop staff drills. The staff drills that we do in our workshops are designed to get people to do the most important movements and allow people to figure them out for themselves. Once people figure something out for themselves, they determine it experimentally, then I don't have to tell them what the point of it is ever again. The point of a staff is that it's long, it moves people far away from you, and when you block, you put a giant object in front of your body. Learning to block with a staff is easier than learning to block with your arm. Blocking with your arm hurts, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of skill. This is not normally taught first in the modern world. This should be taught first. The goal of this is to eventually get you to something like this. This is actually a weapon that was used in armored combat fighting. The goal is to get you to something shorter like this. This is a cold steel indestructible baseball bat. You will notice it has been chewed up. This is because this has been used in OODA loop drills against full force, or like 70, 80, 90% force will eat up these polypropylene weapons, but they do not die. And the goal of that is to eventually get to, fun stuff like this. Do you have to get here? Absolutely not, but it is fun. Life is long, and you should find things to do that are actually interesting, that are actually based on real human movement. It's only in the modern world that people don't have to be good at not getting hit in the head. We've built a society where it is generally safe, but you cannot just go from CrossFit to martial arts. There is a line of adapting your brain from one side to the other. That's what we talk about a lot. We talk about how to drive people and get them to make the decisions so that they are impossible to forget.